Right, circles and arcs. Reason we're not saying curves here is this will come into play when we start doing the inventor modeling terminology. So instead of talking about curves now, we're going to be circles and arcs. So what I'd like you to do, if you're following through this video, is just pause it just now. I'd like you to draw 1 point perspective cube, 2 point perspective cube, and an isometric. In addition to that, it's just 2 normal squares. The reason for that is we're going to learn how to draw the circles in 2D, and then we'll see how that applies. So once you've learned how to do it in 2D, moving it onto the pictorial views is actually quite simple. So once you've got your square, using a straight edge or using your freehand lines, you're going to connect the corners to form a cross. And I'll just do that for these ones just now. So once you've got your cross, you are then going to come in about 2/3 of the way down the line. So you split this into 3 first of all, just make it easier on yourself. So each section should look roughly equal. If they're not equal, it's not going to help you. And then in the edge, you're going to do another in the middle bit. Okay, if you want to get it exactly in the middle, you can take it through the edge here, but most people should be able to just guess that by eye. So from the top, you've drawn your cross. From the centre to the corner, each bit split it into 3 even parts. 3 even parts again. And then you're marking out the centre of each edge of the cross. Okay, so just to make it a bit easier again to see on the video, these are your centres of the edge. And then for the dots that you've done around the side, the only ones that you're interested in are the ones closest to the corner. Okay. Now, depending on the accuracy of your square and your measuring, sometimes you will just end up ignoring these. These are just a little gauge. So what you're going to try and do is you're going to try and create, just freehand, a circle, and using these corners or these dots as an idea for your circle. So just doing it freehand. The more practice you get at this, guys, you'll be able to see some of my marks are a wee bit off. So for example, this dot here is too far out. If I put that out, it's going to distort my circle. So very lightly, building it up. And then once I'm happy enough with that, I can outline that and darken it down. Now, ideally, I would be turning the page rather than turning my wrist. Remember, I've always said that you have to find that angle for sketching and rotate the paper, not your arm. However, if I do that, I will knock over the stand that has got the camera supported on it, and you wouldn't really be able to follow what I'm doing. So there we go, one nice round circle. So same again here, I can already tell that this one's in too close. So I'm just going to spin it round, have a look at what I've got. It looks a wee bit like an egg because it's too tall, so just bringing it round. So if I was drawing a 2D circle, I probably wouldn't bother with this particular method because I've done it so many times. I think I can gauge it by eye quite well. However, for the next step, for doing it in pictorials, it's really, really useful. So you might just want to practice doing your 2D circles just till you're up and running with that, okay? That corner there is awful. But if I go over it, so that it shows up a wee bit better in my outline rather than my construction lines, you've got something that is completely passable for a circle for a technical drawing. There we go, not the world's worst. Okay, so we'll start off with the easy one, which in this case is actually going to be the isometric, because remember, all the sizes on our technical drawings are full size. These ones are affected by perspective, so we're going to deal with this first. So just like we did on the circle, going to do your cross, come in 2/3 of the way, all the way around, find the middle of each bit, okay, and then you can start to sketch, so make sure that that's going around. So what you'll notice from the PowerPoint for Pictorial's theory that I've uploaded is that on an isometric you cannot fit a proper circle. Now if you look at this, you'll think, well, I've just drawn a circle. Actually what I've drawn is an ellipse. Okay, it's not a full circle, that's a circle, that is an ellipse. So again, just to make life, oh god, I went all over the shot there. There we go, should have been there. Got our first circle on. So same practice on over here, cross, cross, you want to find the middle, 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 third of the way, practice that circle, nice and light until you're ready to commit to it. And then with your outline, that's a much better version, done. And it's the same on the top. Okay, so far so good, no issues with any of those there. And this is just a case of practicing it now. If it was only a part of a circle or an arc, obviously I would only be looking for maybe the start, end and middle of an arc. So if it was just a semicircle, I would only put these 5 points in just to get me that little semicircle there. Going for the full circle, you can fill that in. Okay, that would be enough. Okay, 1 point perspective. This face is facing straight on, so it's exactly the same as what we did over here. There's nothing to worry about with it. Nice and simple. Corner, corner, and a third. And then we start to fill in that circle. So in a 1 point perspective, the face or the elevation that is towards you is exactly as your 2D circle, and you should be able to get that fairly quickly to around there. Okay, so these are the faces that start to cause us problems. Anything that's affected by proportion we have to be really careful about. So let's start with this face. We can do our cross, no problem here. So we do our cross, we do our cross. Okay, so that bit's fine. However, the middle of our box isn't actually in the middle, but that's why the centre of this cross comes in quite important. So if I bring that down here, you can see that this part is much bigger than the bit at the back. Because remember, foreshortening, as we go back to the vanishing point, things get smaller. Same with going to the middle. The middle here, we have to take that line back to the vanishing point to find out where that back corner is, where the peak of our circle should be. For higher guys, this is called a tangent. It's something we'll be covering in a couple of weeks. So you need to come in about a third still, and then you should be able to connect your circles. So it's about proportion, it's about finding out what lines need to go back to the vanishing point, what has been foreshortened, because this circle is going to be quite impacted by the perspective. Not as much as this one at the top. Oh yeah, right, corners. Corner to corner, corner to corner. Okay, so the middle of our circle for this face was here. Taking that back to the vanishing point, that means the circle is going to hit here. This was the centre of that circle. It's not going to go back to any vanishing point because it's a 1 point perspective. So we're just going to take that directly across to there. And what we should have, it's not easy to see. It's just that tiny wee circle at the top. Okay, so it's touching at the middle here, comes round. We've got that circle. It might be easier if I just shade it in actually, because it is quite a skinny little ellipse. Okay, so that you can see that it's just that little circle there. So that's what happens when we get to the 2 point perspective as well. So we have to do corner to corner, corner to corner. Finding out where the crosses overlap, that's our centre. I'm going to connect that with a vertical line. Finding out where our crosses are and using the vanishing point to find the back and the front. So just highlight these in just now. So these are my corners, there and there. So centre of the cross is what dictates where they go. Coming into thirds. Thirds. Again, you've got the points for it there, and then just going for it this time, connecting all of your dots to get that ellipse. Alright, so now that we've got this point at the front, it has to be projected back to the vanishing point. We don't know what's going on with this one here, so we'll take this one back as well. and it goes there. Okay, so we need to find out where our corners cross. So 1, 2, 1, 2, there's our cross from the vanishing point. I can now find the centres. That'll be connected there. Okay, and then we will come in 2/3. And then you're looking to connect all those dots. Oops, kind of went off a wee bit there. So remember, your gap should be a wee bit smaller because it's closer to the vanishing point. And then one last one. So this one's quite far towards me, so it's got quite a nice big third. This one's further back, so it's just a wee third. And then I just need to connect all of the dots, and then I'll be finished doing the curves and arcs in perspective. Okay, so as you can see, it's not an accurate science. It is a case of just doing this. This is just to give you a ballpark figure of where the curve should be. Once you get used to doing this, you'll be able to tell by eye that things need to be kind of widened out a bit here. You can see here that I realised it was going to be a bit too shallow and I moved it out. But you'll be doing this not in pen, you'll be doing this in your construction line. And this gives you the opportunity to keep fixing it, going back and changing it. So that there, guys, is doing circles and arcs. I'm going to put up another bunch of pictorials in a PowerPoint. So everything so far has been National 4 level. That's the straight lined pictorials, the little sheds, the little houses, the little camera. This is starting to move on to National 5 and higher, depending on the amount of detail in the orthographics that I give you. Higher, we will do one more type of drawing, but for National 5, that is it. We just need to keep practicing these and we will move on to applying a render.